Welcome to the Transfer Exchange Show. We are live, and it is the England versus Slovenia match preview. It's going to be a big one. There's a lot of England fans waiting in anticipation for whether Gareth Southgate going to change it up. Are England going to play any better, or is it just about getting through this group stage now? I'm joined by Garth Lewis. How you doing, Garth? Sorry about the Garth name again.
No government name, yeah. No, good, man. Yeah, good. Weirdly looking forward to England playing again, even though I shouldn't be considering what I've seen so far. But overall, happy with the tournament, brother. There's not been many dud games, I don't think. I tell you who else has been disappointing, just of the France. Surprised I'm sure we'll get into it in a bit later, but yeah, disappointing with France so far. So, but other than that, decent tournament. Been enjoying it.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I feel like I've missed a couple of games, and even if it's not even really a couple, it's like I've missed maybe the first half of a game, but I've still managed to watch pretty much every game. And yeah, some of the teams that you wouldn't expect to impress have really impressed. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to that in a bit. We'll talk about some other stuff. But first and foremost, England versus Slovenia. There's been a lot of criticism for Gareth Southgate and the way he set up the team, players playing in different positions and learning their trade as such during a tournament. Some comments from Harry Kane as well, where he said that maybe these old previous players should remember what it was like to wear the shirt. Do you think the criticism's been a bit over the top, or do you think it's been warranted?
It's a tough one. I could imagine that if you're there in the England camp, you probably do think it's over the top. But as a observer of what's going on, I think it's very, very valid. We can all see what's happening. We all knew. Literally, I mean, how many of us text people watching us? How many of us text someone else saying you saw this coming when Denmark scored their goal the other night? No, none of us are better managers than Gareth Southgate, but he's making a rod for his own back, and he's making a rod for his team's back by sticking with what clearly is a system that is not going to work with the personnel that he's got there. So I think the criticism is valid. I don't think it's been too overblown. I haven't seen anything that's been too harsh, to be quite honest with you, mate. Like, especially not like well, obviously we had the golden generation, and them boys, some of them, you know what I mean, obviously Beckham's an extreme case, but that case you had effigies being hung of him, being burned. You know what I mean? Like, no, we are not, you know what I mean? This isn't the racial abuse that the three boys suffered after the last one. You're getting criticised for poor performances on the pitch, and to get that defense, I thought Harry Kane was very defensive in saying that, and I think it was telling that he's that defensive, because clearly you only get that defensive with light criticism, but then you know that there's a point that it's right. You know what I mean? Like, that is correct. So
yeah, I think we've seen similar from Kyle Walker as well, and I feel like his comments were a little bit defensive as well, where he said, "We're through. I don't understand why people. Yes, we can't exactly smash teams 5-6-0 like people are expecting. These are tough teams, but we're 4 points top of the group." Again, it's very similar to what we were saying about Harry Kane. Walker's comments there were very defensive as well. We've got Trent playing in midfield. We've said it's not working. Do you persist with it and hope that the more togetherness in the and training that you've got in the camp, he can sort of play his way into that, or is it time for a change?
Oh, it's 100% time to move him out there. It's not working. It's not just he's unfamiliar with the position, because he has played there. He hasn't got the players around him to support that position either, that needs for him to be able to have the time to play the way that you're expecting. He's not a defensive midfielder, so he's not going to be a destroyer of any kind. His defensive abilities have always been the weakest part of his game, so are still decent, but it's not a role that you can just insert someone into just because they're a defender. I don't think. Like, it's a little bit weird that he stuck with it in the second game when it was clearly not working in the first. Knowing Southgate, though, like, I can easily see it being exactly the same starting lineup against Slovenia. I can easily see it being exactly Trent playing against. No, it's definitely, in my opinion, time to move him out. Who you put there? I mean, as much as I said you shouldn't play him, I think Kobe Maino's or Adam Wharton. Like, seriously, one of them two in there. If you want to play the Gareth Southgate style of the double pivot, I don't think Cole Palmer can play there. You know, and he clearly isn't going to play Bellingham there. So if we're going on the Southgate tactics, I think it's got to be one of Wharton or Maino. Obviously, I think everyone who watches this show knows mine and your opinion on this. I think it should be Rice, Bellingham, Foden through the centre, I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be. You know, I mean, maybe that's one of the things that they play it and we get dumped 6-0 by Slovenia because it don't work. But I can't see how it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why he won't go for it. He's so pragmatic. It's such a defensive mindset. And I'm sorry, Carl. Like when he said that, they're not good teams. They're not. Denmark are half decent. Serbia and Slovenia are second tier nations, and I'm like bottom of the second tier as well. This isn't that there should be no fear playing these teams with the squad that we've got. That there shouldn't be, in my opinion. I know it's tournament football, anything can happen, but nah, I thought that was a cop out. Funny enough, like I really thought that's one of them ones that you just say, and then you're like, and you get no one biting back on you, so you get away with it. You know what I mean? If one of us got said that down a pub to each other, like you'd be like, "What are you talking about? It's Serbia, mate. This ain't even Serbia 10 years ago. This is Serbia now, bro." No. So yeah, definitely got to change it in my opinion. How they change it, I don't know. I can't see him. I cannot see. Can you see him moving Foden off of the left wing for this game? Can you see him putting the 3 in the centre?
I don't see him putting the 3 in the centre, but I think he might change Trent. Trent, it's been clear. Trent has not worked. He's too. I said it the other day. He seems too stiff. I don't know whether it's because he's just like you said. Right back. No matter how good you are at right back and central midfield are two completely different disciplines. Like you can't just stick a weldy of a right back in at centre midfield because he's got a great pass in him. There's a reason why he has that time and space out on the right, because no one's closing you down when you're in and around the centre circle or just past it. And that's where he gets a lot of his joy from whipping in those early balls, because similar to David Beckham, he'd do it just before you'd expect it, and he can wrap it round. He's got that in his locker. I don't know how you think that. Why you think that would translate from right back to central midfield? Your position's different. Your positional sense is different. The way you hold yourself is different. The way you're angling for a pass is different. You're going from a central midfield, you're looking here and here and here, rather than from right back and you're looking across there all the time. So I feel it's forced. I really do think it's forced. There's so much talk about it previously about how Trent's not a great defender and he used to play for the youth team in midfield. Then why didn't he come through in midfield? Tell me that. Why didn't he come through as a professional player in central midfield? There's a reason. Because he couldn't hack it. And that's not a dig at him. It's just because that's not the position they thought he was best at. But he was probably so good that it was like, we've got to fit him in this team. Where else can we put him? It's usually an unsuccessful winger that's been made into right back as opposed to a central midfielder. But this time it's a central midfielder. But yeah, no, I think it's forced. I think we could see potentially Kobe Mainoo in that central midfield spot. I think we saw Conor Gallagher the other day.
Oh, Gallagher. I forgot. Yeah, sorry, Gallagher will play there. No, he'll play there. It'll be Conor Gallagher.
But for me, he's too rash. He's too eager. You've got to have at the national level, same as when you're playing in Champions League, you've got to have that little bit of composure. You can't just be running in and hacking people down. And like, this isn't about English grit and wear your heart on your sleeve. And he wears his 3 lines on his chest.
Brexit.
It's not about that. Do you see Sergio Busquets diving in and slide tackling everyone? No. Busquets stands up on everything. You very rarely see Busquets go down. All the best central midfielders, all the best defensive midfielders, you don't see him go down. Kimmich, when he played there, that's a player who was so good at right back, he could play in central midfield, and it translated well. And he could do that as well. He could pass, he could move, he could do all of it. There was the transition was seamless. With Trent, it's not, and I think it's poor that we're doing it during the tournament. Doesn't make sense to me. You tried it twice now. You've got to change it. You're saying that you think he's going to go with Conor Gallagher?
No, you said that. Yeah. It was the comment, weren't it? Honestly, I lost all faith. I don't know if you were going to talk about this, but I'm going to jump in now.
I'll talk about it in a sec. Yeah, go on.
You are going to talk about that comment about Phillips, yeah. Sorry. Conor Gallagher. If we're talking Southgate here, if we're talking what I would do, we know. That's what I'm saying. No, I'd play Rice, Bellingham, Foden. That's what I'd start with, especially against Slovenia. But if we're talking what Southgate's going to do, clearly it's Conor Gallagher in out of that option. Like maybe Kobe Mainoo. Adam Walton ain't got a chance. There's like poor geezer. Like that's one of them ones. Again, these are them players that you take. This is what I said last time. Like if you've got no trust in these boys to see out games, why are you taking them? We've got other players you could have taken. We could have taken another left back, which is clearly well necessary. You know what I mean? Like, I think the days are gone where you take a player just for the experience of the tournament, like an Adam Wharton. I really do. Like, I don't like it. You've got to play these. If you think they're good enough to be in your team, then you should think that they're good enough to play. But yeah, if we're talking about Southgate, of course he's going to play Conor Gallagher. Of course he is. And then, yeah, there'll be... I don't know if Trent will get into the team at a fullback position. So it might just be a straight swap, or it might be what I said, where you put either Trent or Walker at left back. But yeah, 100% it's going to be Conor Gallagher. Oh, honestly, you've disappointed me, Keir. I'd completely forgotten Gallagher was in this team.
I won't ever forget that performance he had when he came on. Look, I like Conor Gallagher. I'm a big fan of him. But he's got more in his locker than just being the new Scott Parker. And that's not a diss on Scott Parker. It's very similar to what's happened with Scott Parker. Scott Parker was an excellent central midfielder and then went to Chelsea and reinvented himself as just a bosher. Forget about the passing, just bosh. And that is what Conor Gallagher is turning into, because it seems like, I wouldn't say teams don't trust him, but they don't want him to do any of the extra stuff that he's got. They feel like he's best at just closing down, putting a tackle in, being strong, being power, and moving out from deep with the ball. He's got more to his game than that. He can score goals as well. We saw what he was like when he was at Crystal Palace, so he could probably play in that 10 as well. He's a very defensive 10. It's very Mason Mount-esque 10, but he's got it in his locker.
Course 10, yeah. No, I could say, actually, you're right. I could definitely see him in that. It's just that's not what Gareth Southgate can ask him to do. That's not. It's not that he's a bad player. It's exactly what you just said. Like, I'm just like, oh, at least a Kobe Mainoo or an Adam Wharton may still have that exuberance of youth where they're like, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm going for this run. I'm going for this run. I'm going for it.
It's why I would probably play Mainoo, because I'm looking at previously before the tournament, I was like, no. But I'm looking at the opposition. Like, if we're playing Germany, I'm not playing Mainoo.
No.
If we're playing Slovenia and we want a bit of a lift, we want to start. You want someone, like you said, with that youthful exuberance to get the ball and just move with it. Just move with it. Look for the 1-2s. We're not getting that from Trent. He's sitting deep and he's trying to spray balls like he's a quarterback. On that, Gareth Southgate's comments the other day, he said his exact comments were, we don't have a natural replacement for Calvin Phillips. We're trying different things. There's a lot to unpack there in just one line. First of all, how are we missing Calvin Phillips? He's not been around for 2 years. Like, what's going on? 2 years. He's been...
Big question. Sorry, the big question I got is, what does he think Calvin Phillips is? Like, I saw like many a tweet and stuff of him, like, what Gareth Southgate thinks of Calvin Phillips, and it's like Dunga, pictures of like Casemiro, pictures of like, you know, in the great, like Pirlo, the greatest like defensive midfield quarterbacks of all time. Yeah. Like, it demonstrates where his psyche, where his philosophy is at, that he's ruined that we don't have a Calvin Phillips in that team. Like, listen, I like Calvin Phillips. I think he's a good player. I think he's someone I'd want Man United to sign, to be quite honest. I know he's had a bad couple of years, but that's that Man City thing where you ain't played in 2 years, really. And then you've gone to West Ham. Like, I like Calvin Phillips a lot. I think he's a good player, but to say we're missing him like that, like, we haven't found a natural replacement for Calvin. What are you doing? Like, you need him that badly? Bring him. He's not that he's unfit or anything. He's had a bad year, but like, bring him then. It's a
you played Maguire through his non-playing times, these bad times.
So exactly.
Fair point.
You know what I mean? It's a piss poor excuse for that's what you can tell. He knows the players know. It's been underwhelming. Yeah, we're on 4 points. And I know that probably for a lot of fans, like I've said before, like, it probably looks like we're being bratish about it, but it's the football, man. Like, we know where it's going. And so to be standing there making excuses like, oh yeah, but we're missing, because that's what he's basically saying. We're not competing in these games like we should, because we ain't got Calvin Phillips. Behave yourself, man. Behave yourself.
Look, it's for me, it's why he's playing Trent there, is why he's forcing it. He brought in Calvin Phillips when Calvin Phillips was playing in the Championship, which at the time blew my mind. But then I saw Calvin Phillips play and I was like, oh, okay. I see what you but that's Calvin Phillips under Bielsa, who's played in that sort of quarterback role. He didn't play in that quarterback role when he went to Man City. He's hardly played any games when he's for them. He didn't play that quarterback role when he was at West Ham. Like he's the Calvin Phillips that you remember is a different Calvin Phillips. So if you are gonna, so I can see why he's trying to force Trent, because he sees Trent as someone who can spray the balls left and right, and that's what he wants. He wants someone who can tackle. Trent's a defender, and he wants someone who can get the ball and see a man. And to be fair to Trent, he was trying that in the last game. It nearly came off a couple of times, a couple overhit. But again, that at the time, I was like, why are you doing that? It's forced. Why are we forcing it? Play out. Look, movement. Sorry. It's just not, it's not working. To turn around and say in one breath that you feel or imply that everyone's going a little bit over the top, and then caveat that with we're missing Calvin Phillips, pretty much as you said, says it all. They know full well we're not playing well, when we're not playing to the best of our ability, not even 70%. And that's why people are worried. We said it in the first game. It won't strike fear into Denmark's eyes. The first 5 minutes, Denmark would have been like, sweet. Are you kidding me? This is how England are going to play today. We've got this. We've got this. And then they conceded the goal. But as we said and we saw before, England sit in, which gives the opposition a little more confidence, gives them time on the ball, gives them time to get used to a pitch, which that pitch was awful, which we didn't have that time once we let them play. And then they played back into it. And there was no surprise that they were the better team throughout, and the team that could probably have gone on to win it.
100%, man. Like, this is what I think with the Serbia game. People don't, like, if they had a better striker or a man who could take a ball, we would have drawn against Serbia. Like, they had a couple of decent chances against us. And then Denmark, 100% could have won. Like, if you had asked me on 65 minutes to put money on who's going to win this game, then I wouldn't put anything on England. You know what I mean? This ain't me. Like, 100% you would have put money on Denmark. Like, so, and that's the problem. Like, it's bad. Like I said, I don't know if I said this on the show. I just said it to my missus that I always wanted Denmark to win in the end. Like, and then Slovenia, just so that I don't have to put up with this and that it's done, and then we can rebuild for another tournament, because we're not beating any good teams the way we're playing. You know, like, I know that's a nihilistic way of looking at things, but I can't be bothered to watch. This is why it's been like for England for a long time. I can't be bothered to watch England knowing exactly what we're going to get. When was the last time you were entertained by England? You know, like, not just we won, but entertained by England. 2 tournaments ago, 4 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I think we're very lucky to have 4 points. I really do. I think it could have easily been 2 or 1 point, quite easily, if different things had gone different ways. I mean, was it Serbia? Was it Serbia with that absolute, like, it was Serbia, the reflex shot where he just spun and pumped it, and then Pickford got a nice hand to it, a good save from Pickford. From Vlahovic, it was Vlahovic, wasn't it? Yeah, Vlahovic, how you say it. Lovely shot, could have gone in. Their number 8 was in our box easily. If he had a better touch on him, that's a guaranteed goal as he broke through our lines. And then Denmark, I mean, Denmark were tiring towards the end of the game, but I still think that they were in the ascendancy for most of that match after we scored. They were the ones that looked the most like they were going to grab that win, in my opinion. So, yeah, it comes all back to it. I don't think it's over the top. And this is the problem we've had with England for a long time. Stop getting defensive about this. Pundits are allowed to discuss your poor performances without it being, oh, you're being over the top, you're this, you're that. No. And it's not over the top to think England with this squad. Did you see James McLean talking about how we're like, it's not over the top, McLean. Like, we've got a quality team, and this is the problem. We've never done anything with it. For years, we've had quality teams and never done anything with it. So, yeah, you can say we've only ever won one World Cup, but we definitely should have won more tournaments and competitions. And this is where this malaise comes from for us, this willingness to just dig them out immediately, because we've seen it so many times as England fans. So many times as England fans. No, very poor. Listen, we should smash Slovenia up because it's Slovenia. But, I mean, they've got 2 good players, haven't they? Sesko and Oblak, and that's literally it.
Do you see any trouble coming from those players or anyone else in the Slovenia team?
Well, listen, Sesko, I don't know much about Sesko. I know he's a hot property. A lot of people like him. From what I've seen of him this tournament, yeah, he could definitely cause us trouble, 100%. And this is the problem. If you sit back against any team, even Slovenia, if we're sitting back, for 70 minutes, yeah, of course they can cause us trouble. Of course they can. You know, like they've done. What is it? Both games were 1-1, weren't they? And I think, Serbia was last minute as well, weren't it? So they held Serbia until the last minute, and they got a draw with Denmark. So, and so they're going to be going for it, man. Thinking about it, that could be if they beat us, it's 5 points that they're on, which means they go through. So, yeah, why not? Like, I can't say no, they can't cause us problems. They shouldn't. That's out there, and that's our point. I think that's the point of all the English pundits and the fans. No, they shouldn't cause us any problems, man. But then again, neither should have Denmark or Serbia. Denmark a little bit more, but still, no. I can easily see a world where Slovenia nick a 1-0 win. I can easily see it. Like, I'm not saying it's going to happen. It shouldn't happen, but of course you can see it, man. Like, do you have any worries at all, or do you think it's going to be breezy easy?
I think he may make a change, and I think that change will make a difference. I don't think we're going to be looking as seamless as we think or hope, but I think he may make a change with Trent. It's clearly not worked to the point where it's actually been a little bit of a detriment to our team. Rice was poor the other day, and I wonder how much playing next to Trent, who's not a midfielder, is having that effect on him.
100% is, yeah.
Because I've never seen Trent play. Rice play that bad. And I'm talking about whether he was with West Ham or Arsenal. He was awful, and Bellingham let the game pass him by last week, and I don't think he's going to want to do that again. He's got a strong, solid mentality, so I think he'd be making a concerted effort to have a seriously good game. So I think we're going to step it up. I think the players will take it upon themselves not to be so. What's the word I'm looking for? Cautious and try things because they know they've got it. I think hopefully they use this criticism as a sort of catalyst to say up yours. And I think Cal State would be smart to use that, the Jose Mourinho style, them against us. Come on, yes, we've got the fans, but look, people don't rate us. Let's show them. Like, he'd be smart. It's tournament football. You need little things to spark you. You need little things to inspire the team, and something like that where we can prove them wrong. I think would be really good. But I don't trust Calgate to even contemplate using that.
I was just about to say the way that they're talking, they're not, because they're all hurt and offended. Instead of just coming out like Carl Walker's just kind of been like, Kane was the one that I thought was a little like, he's like, yeah, I know we ain't played well enough. You know what I mean? Like, that's when you can then turn it around and be like, I'm going to show you, though. I know we ain't played well enough, but I'm going to show you, like, we're a top team. Whereas the rest of them that I've seen talk, the rest of them that I've seen talking, it's more, well, we're 4 points. What more do you want from us? Like, we've given it our best. These are top nations. They're not top nations. You haven't given it your best. Like, no. Like, everything you're saying is uber defensive. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've just told you, like I've insulted you, when in reality, it's valid criticism, like I said at the start, man. So no, I don't think they will use that. Honestly, I don't know if they're going to change it. I hope he does. I've just got this really bad feeling that you're just going to see maybe Foden dropped and he puts Gordon on the left wing or something. I bet he sticks with Trent. Honestly, we'll see. We will see. And if it ain't Trent, it's Conor Gallagher. And for me, that ain't much better in that position either. Yeah. So, no. On Kane, the big talking point, which I said they should have come off earlier in the game, but you start him, obviously, don't you, in the next game?
I wouldn't have even taken him off in the last game. Like, I honestly thought that was a bit ludicrous. Right, I thought it was mental. I would never take Harry Kane off. Like, look, everyone has those games. Everyone has moments where they don't listen to the manager. When the manager's saying, stay up top, we need you up top, and you're thinking, I ain't touched the ball in 15 minutes. I'm going to go and get it. Like, everyone does that, yeah. And it was frustrating for us because we're seeing there was points when we need someone, a vocal point up there, to receive that ball, hold it up, pass it off, and then score. And he's at the halfway line trying to win it, trying to get past 4 players. And it's like, that's not your game. It's never really been your game. And if it was, when you did try and drop deep, you'd have Son on the left, you'd get the ball down, you'd ping it 40 yards, and then run onto it. What you're trying to do now is not the Harry Kane from previously. You're trying too much and you're trying too hard. It happens. Personally, I would have brought on Watkins. I would have taken a Foden and brought in Watkins. Watkins used to be a winger. He's like the rugby winger. Just massive, powerful, and quick, and he's got that in his locker. So I would have played both of them up there. Changes in this game. I'm probably. I would probably take out Foden off that left, and I would take out Trent in that middle. I would like to see, because I know it's not going to be what we want to see, which is Foden in that middle. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to see Mainu, because I feel like he has that no fear at the moment, which we could do with using. And on the left, I'll try something different. Gordon, Eze, it don't really matter to me. They're both very direct, and they will both put pressure on the defenders because they're going at them. You're not getting that from Foden, and to a certain extent, you're not really getting it too much from Saka, which I think is another thing that Gareth Southgate has instructed him to do, because I've not seen Saka play this reserved for a while, and he usually plays this reserved when he's in bad form, but we've seen he's not in bad form. He's actually in good form. He's actually playing well. He's just playing with the shackles on a little bit. So I'd make changes, because I think this is the last opportunity to make changes before the knockout stage, and I think we can afford to make those changes as well in this game. What would you do?
Pretty much just very similar, mate. Obviously, he's not going to play what we were like through the middle, the free through the middle, which is what I really want to see. But very similar. Like I say, Wharton or Maino in that next to Rice. If we're not playing Foden through the centre, definitely either change his role so that he is playing as an inverted winger, like literally, so there is no width out there whatsoever. Or take him out, play Eze or Gordon, and I'd take Trippier out as well, man. I really would.
Oh yeah,
and I mean literally anyone. Joe Lewis. Sorry, Joe Gomez.
Joe Lewis. Taking it back to the old school, mate.
Yeah, that's my cousin, bro. That's my cousin.
It's my cousin. That is my cousin. This is the team that he's deployed at both times. What change do you think he will make, though?
Honestly, mate, if I'm putting money on it, I don't think he changes it. Maybe Foden. I reckon he plays Trent again. I really do. That's how silly he is, man. So I reckon, if anyone's getting changed, obviously, I reckon it's only going to be Foden or Trent in his mind. And then, I reckon he'll put Gallagher in. I reckon Southgate will put Gallagher in over Trent if he changes it. And I don't even know. We'll take Foden out, man. But Gordon, I reckon he'll go with over Eze. Eze's too unpredictable for his tastes, whereas he knows Gordon will do the job that he asks him to do, which is running up and down the line. Whereas Eze, I think Eze's far too close to Phil Foden, if that makes sense. Eze's got a bit more going down, taking a man on, but he's also much. I think Eze's far better in the centre, AM centre, than he is out on the flanks personally. Mm-hmm. But that's it. I can't see him making any major changes, really, man. I really can't.
And you'll take out Kieran Trippier, Trent.
Yeah,
I'd keep Foden on that left. You'd keep Foden on that left. Take him out.
Not in the role he's playing at the moment, Keir. I wouldn't. No, not in the like you say the shackled role that he's playing at the moment. Absolutely not. If you can say to Foden, do what you want to do. Like Phil Foden's the sort of player that you can't give. You've got to let him do what he wants, basically, in this team. You've got to let him do what he wants. It's that sort of player. If you want to get the best out of Phil Foden in this team, then you let him do what he wants. Even at Man City, he's one of the few players that has a much more freer role. He hasn't got a free role, obviously, because it's Pep, but he's got a much freer role than most of the other boys in that team. He's the mercurial player. He's the spark. You don't know what he's going to do at any given moment. So, no, if he's going to play the system that he's playing now, no, you can't keep him in, sorry. You got to take him out. Because Foden just isn't designed for that role. And Foden also gives me the impression of a player that if he starts having a bad game, then he's going to start having a bad game. Like one of them players, you know what I mean? He goes downhill, he gets inside himself, he's sulky a little bit, he gets angry.
I agree. Yeah. Similar to what I think I saw in the last game was when he made a couple of opportunities for himself, and then that was it in his head. I'm going to do this for the rest of the game. When you had opportunities to pass, and I think that's what frustrated me massively in that game as well. We were forcing it too many times, which made it very bitty. It made it very. There was no cohesion there. It was all stop-start, and that played into Denmark's hands. I think we just got to be smarter. Opportunities to try and, yes, you may think you can get a shot off, but look for the pass, get a corner, keep that pressure on. And I think I think that's what you'll get if you have someone like a Gordon or someone like even an Eze. So if you have a classic winger, it keeps the pressure on. You can't discredit how important it is putting pressure on teams. That's why you see some of these teams where they've got those wingers in the tournament and they're just going at players all the time, non-stop. Maybe not everything's coming off, but they're winning corners, free kicks, and then they go and get bought in the summer by a club, and it's like, actually, he's wasteful, he's not as good, and it's that. But in tournament football, it don't matter. Like you can be that player that's just relentless down the wing. He ain't got much more to his game, but in this tournament, it's making a difference. It's keeping the pressure on, and it's putting them under pressure. And I think we need to start doing that. I think we've got to be smart. We've got the squad there to slap Slovenia all over the place. One of the better players is 36, like playing his trade. Lilic. Yeah. Like,
is he 36 now? God, I'm
36.
Oh my God,
36. So look, this is an opportunity for us to really again just reset, strike fear into the teams that are coming in. If you're going to say that we're building into it and we'll take it game by game and we get better as the tournament goes on, this is the team where you need to. This is the game where you need to turn around. People need to turn around and go, oh, actually, do you know what? England turned up today. I don't want to face England in the next round. Right now, if you're looking at all the teams that potentially come top, I think England are mid in that what they want to face. Spain, Germany, France. Even the France are poor. Even France have not been good, and you won't want to face those. Like I'd much rather play England rather than any of those teams. And a lot of people didn't even give Spain the time of day before the tournament.
I certainly didn't. I said that they were going to have a bad tournament, and then look at them. But again, I was also like, "Oh, don't play Yamil. That's 16 years old, man. That's a bit." Oh, no, he's
I thought he was 17. So when they're like he's 16 still, I was saying to this kid's only just turned 17. It's ridiculous. And it's like 16-year-old Yamil. I was like, shut up. Are you crazy? He's like one of the best players in the tournament. He's 16.
16,
what?
Mate.
What?
Oh, it's disgraceful.
Give us your score prediction for the game.
2-0 England.
Okay. Do you think it's going to be convincing?
No. I reckon it's going to be 1-0, and then we're going to be sweating until like the 87th minute, and then where Slovenia are going for it, we get a cheeky second goal. Like because of the way, unless we change everything up, man. In reality, it should be 5. Like it should be 5-1, 5-0. You know what I mean? It should be one of them games where, and again, it sounds so disrespectful to Slovenia, but I'm sorry. It should be one of them games where the players are out there having a bit of fun. You know what I mean? They're enjoying themselves. It shouldn't be a war of attrition against Slovenia. It shouldn't be a slog. It should be like, in all fairness, this should be the game of the tournament where you do play Maino, Wharton, like maybe not from the start, but where Gordon's getting his minutes, where Gomez is getting his minutes, where the fringe players in this squad are getting their minutes,
which is crazy.
And Palmer, Palmer's a victim of his positions, because in all fairness, are you putting him in over Saka on the right flank? No. Are you putting him in over Bellingham or Foden in the AM centre? No, you're not. Are you putting him out on the left wing? He really don't play out there very much. You know what I mean? That's what we're talking about trying. He ain't got a left P. So left wing's his only option. And we're talking about don't force players into positions they don't play in. You know what I mean? So he's unlucky, but he definitely 100% he should be getting minutes. You know, it should be the game where exactly right. Palmer starts. Bellingham's having a rest because he's done so well in the last two. Because we've done so well in the last 2 games, you're allowed, because Palmer's a baller. So I've got no worries about him playing there. You know what I mean? And that's, you know what I mean? The front 4 against Slovenia, in reality, if we played properly against Denmark, should have been Ollie Watkins up top, Eze on the left, Palmer through the centre, and Gordon on the left, Eze on the right, Palmer through the centre, or Palmer on the right, Eze through the centre. Maybe not to start, but by the end of the game, 100% should have been them 4 up top. So we're not going to see it though, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, we're not going to see it. And like you said, it is a little bit wild that we're not going to potentially see Bellingham in that 8, Rice in that 6.
Do you think Rice will work with Bellingham? Because I've heard a lot of people saying that it won't work, and I'm like, I don't know about that. Rice is a top quality baller, and Bellingham,
I understand why they would say it wouldn't work.
There's a lot of people that are saying that Declan Rice couldn't hold it on his own, which is a lack of understanding because Bellingham ain't going to just leave him on his own all game. But what they're saying is when Bellingham breaks forward, Declan Rice is going to be exposed. I don't agree with it at all. I think it's personally, I think that's again nonsense talk. Declan Rice can definitely hold it on his own when needed. All game as a single pivot, maybe not, but you know what I mean. Like the 8 isn't just playing like. Bellingham as a box-to-box midfielder, people are forgetting the box-to-box bit. Yeah, he's going to be up there a lot, but he's also got to be back down in our box as well. So, But yeah, a lot of people are saying it won't work, man.
I don't know why they would say it wouldn't work. You're talking about quality players in the positions that they were brought up in. Like Declan Rice is a 6 or an 8, so he can play. He's played a lot this season as a 6. Bellingham was an 8 for Dortmund. So I don't, and as I said before, I think that the reason why he's been deployed as a 10 for Real Madrid is because Ancelotti sees him as like a Kaka type player. And for England, you don't necessarily need. You could have that player in 8 because the box to box bit you can tackle. In fact, the people were waxing lyrical about his performance in the first game, but everything he did in that first game was that of an 8. The tackling, the winning the ball, tackling and passing it out. The last minute, arriving in the box late to get the goal. That was an 8. But that was an 8 performance, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's 10, best 10. No, it's not. It's not. As for the score prediction, I think you're right. I would agree. I feel like it could be a 2-0. I feel like it's very similar. An early goal fitting, which will prove Gareth Southgate right.
Yeah.
That we sit in and then we hit him on the counter, we score a goal, and I think that's what he wants to do in this competition, which is crazy because we've seen that has not worked, and it's actually been a detriment to us against Croatia, against France, against Italy, and now against teams like Denmark and Serbia, which is worrying. So we move on from that. I just want to ask you, who have you been most impressed with in this tournament so far? First of all, we'll go with the teams you've been most impressed with.
Yeah, see, I'm just getting it up now because I knew this was coming. It can't be denied. I know that they got slapped by Portugal, but Turkey impressed me in that first game a lot, man. You know, yeah, they a lot. Obviously, it was. Did you see the own goal? Ooh,
Yeah.
Football. But I've been impressed with Turkey. I mean, like I say, like Portugal slapped them 3-0. They slapped them as well. They played them off the park. So, but if you'd asked me before, was that last night? It was last night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If you'd asked me before last night, then I would have said Turkey. Romania done very well to get that win against Belgium.
Really good, didn't they? Surprisingly, a team that doesn't score many goals, and in this tournament they're doing the opposite.
Yeah, done very well. Holland. Again, I thought that they did the perfect game against France because France is so strong, man. Well, they should be. But I don't think there's any hidden surprises coming out. Switzerland have done all right, obviously. You know what I mean? Win against Hungary, draw against Germany. No, Scotland. Yeah, draw against Scotland. So they've done all right. So out of everyone, I think the Swiss are the most surprised. But I think we said at the start, didn't we? Before the tournament started, we're like, never count the Swiss out. They've always got those those streets will never forget ballers.
And they've got seasoned professionals in there. They'll always take a player that's had 2 tournaments. He may not play, but they've got players like Shaqiri. It's good in every tournament that he's played in, and another Worldie.
I can't believe that when I saw that.
What a goal! But that's Shaqiri, and that's what I mean about that in the international stage. Those sorts of players work. You take them to club level, and like he was at Liverpool, weren't he? At Liverpool, he was okay, but his problem at Liverpool is he don't move. So you haven't got. So when you're doing a swap with Salah, you've got Salah who's up and down the pitch all day, and you've got Shaqiri who don't move. On the ball, he's excellent on the ball, but when you're playing in the Premier League for a top team, it's not translating well. So it doesn't have to be the baller in the Premier League that he is on the national stage. I think it's just about being the right person.
Yeah, he's just not a top team player because of exactly he doesn't stick to the system. That's why his best time would have been at Stoke, 100%. And I was looking at his career. He's been Bayern Munich, didn't work. Inter Milan, didn't work. Liverpool, didn't work. The only place where he's actually like been and stayed a long time is Basel, is a first club, and then Stoke, because at a Stoke in the Premier League, you can have one of those. You can have a Shaqiri. You can have a JJ. Well, I say JJ Kocher was just banging anyway, but you know, like you can have that mercurial player that you just let do what they want to do. Like a Januzaj at Sunderland, like you can let them do it. So yeah, no. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know about yourself, but yeah, there hasn't been a Greece of 2006 yet. There hasn't been an Iceland of 2016, or what was that 2016, or a Wales of 2016 yet. You know what I mean? It feels like the final 8 are going to be the 8 good teams. It feels. I can't see any surprises on the horizon, man.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see any surprises. And who has been?
Bless you. Hay fever is a killer.
Not hay fever. This one's illness. Who's been your? Who's most impressed you player wise?
Do you know what I mean? I know that Arda Güler's now become named, but obviously anyone who plays Football Manager has seen him for a while. Like that goal was spectacular. Yeah. I thought he's done very well. Again, I don't think there's been any. The Turkish team as a unit in that first game done really well, but like Arda Güler would be the man that stood out. So far, a lot of the big boys are failing to impress, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like Lukaku hasn't been up to scratch yet. Mbappe, I don't think, has been up to scratch yet. Like the entire French team hasn't been up to scratch yet. The Dutch boys, even like Memphis Depay, looked good.
No, he was poor in the last game.
But then he was poor. You know what I mean? Like, yes. So, again, I honestly, do you know what? It's not just because I can't think of it. It's because there is really none of the German team, maybe. Florian Wirtz, lovely first goal, obviously. Musiala has been pretty dominant in this tournament.
But so, it's the youngsters, isn't it? It's the youngsters.
And yeah, obviously Yamal as well. You already had there you go, yeah. But that is a lot to do with his 16 as well. Like he's putting in great performances, but the 16 bit makes it even more special, doesn't it? You know what I mean? So,
I thought that Nico Williams in the first game was unimpressive, but the second game I thought he was outstanding. I thought you couldn't touch him. Just relentless, just a constant danger. And that's why I've put Spain as one of the teams that I think could sort of, we kind of dismissed when they've come into this tournament and showed us that if there's one team that can play without, to be fair to Morata, I think he's actually played well as well.
Morata played well.
We easily forget Morata, but no, I think he's done a good job to sort of bring that balance to the forward line with Williams and Lamel Joao. So yeah, very impressed with those two.
Yeah, all right. I'm just thinking about there is no one else really smashed it up, even the Portugal team. Like Leao on the left for Portugal done well in the last game, but the first game he was very bitty, man. Yeah,
very.
Yeah, no, I haven't got anyone that's like that isn't a known quantity. I've got no one to say that like they're the standout. You know what I mean? I haven't got a young up and comer that we haven't heard of before that I can be like him. So yeah, nah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us tonight, everyone. Make sure you join us for the post-match reaction of the England game, the big game for England. Could they change people's mind, change people's feeling, and give them a bit more positivity about this tournament, or will it just fizzle out to another poor performance result that we get, but it's uninspiring? I don't know. I hope it's not that. Thank you for joining us tonight, Garth.
Thanks for having me, mate. Pleasure as always.
All right. And if anyone is new to the show, make sure you press that like and subscribe button. If you are a regular, press that like button, press that share button, and press that copy button. And if you are watching on Twitter, I appreciate if you press that like button and then retweet. It all makes a difference. Said, make sure you join us for the post-match section, people. Peace out. Stay safe and wash your hands.